Inside a tense, electric arena where every seat is buzzing with anticipation, the air thickens as the spotlights ignite the ring. Tonight is not just another fight. It is a collision of identities, nations, and fighting philosophies. On one side stands Isaac Pitbull Cruz, the relentless pressure fighter from Mexico City, molded by the raw, unforgiving sparring pits of his homeland. His stance is compact, tightly coiled, like a spring ready to detonate. Every muscle twitches with that signature Pitbull urgency, a promise that he will take one step forward for every punch thrown at him. On the opposite end, Thomas "Gunna-Man" Mattice of Cleveland, Ohio, arrives with a fighter's poise and a strategist's mind. Taller, longer, and more traditionally polished, he carries with him the proud grit of a Midwestern fighter who has spent years mastering the art of survival, counterpunching, and adapting under fire. As the announcer's voice thunders through the building, from Mexico City, District Federal, Isaac Pitbull Cruz, the crowd erupts, their cheers echoing like a war chant. Then comes Mattice's introduction, a wave of applause mixed with tension. Both warriors meet in the center, eyes locked, barely breathing as the referee commands, "Keep it clean. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands." Gloves touch, a fragile symbol of respect before violence. The bell rings. The arena shifts from noise to heartbeat silence. Immediately, Cruz surges forward like a storm, cutting the ring, forcing Mattice backward with suffocating pressure. The fight begins exactly as analysts predicted. But the energy in the building hints at something deeper, a sense that tonight, both men will be pushed to their limits, mentally, physically, and emotionally. This is the beginning of a 10-round test of will, and neither man intends to break first. As the early rounds unfold, the dynamic between the two fighters becomes painfully clear. Cruz refuses to give Mattice even a second of breathing room. Like a machine operating without pause, he digs fierce shots to the body, right hooks into the ribs, short left uppercuts through the guard. Compact punches thrown from angles most fighters never even attempt. Mattice responds with discipline, trying to maintain distance, flicking jabs, and choosing his counterpunches with care. But Cruz, small in stature yet colossal in determination, simply walks through the fire. He crouches low, slipping under Matisse's longer arms, forcing inside exchanges where his punches land with thudding effect. Commentators note the difference immediately. Cruz is fighting like a man who refuses to take a backward step. As the early rounds unfold, the dynamic between the two fighters becomes painfully clear. Cruz refuses to give Mattice even a second of breathing room. Like a machine operating without pause, he digs fierce shots to the body, right hooks into the ribs, short left uppercuts through the guard, compact punches thrown from angles most fighters never even attempt. Mattice responds with discipline, trying to maintain distance, flicking jabs, and choosing his counterpunches with care. But Cruz, small in stature yet colossal in determination, simply walks through the fire. He crouches low, slipping under Matisse's longer arms, forcing inside exchanges where his punches land with thudding effect. Commentators note the difference immediately. Cruz is fighting like a man who refuses to take a backward step. Mattice, meanwhile, struggles to establish the rhythm he promised he would show, something his corner continuously reminds him of between rounds, urging him for faster starts, cleaner counters, more responsibility on defense. In the third round, a sudden burst of violence erupts. Cruz lands a clean body shot, followed by a sharp uppercut that backs Mattice up for the first time. The crowd gasps. Mattice tries to rally, landing a crisp right hand at long range. But Cruz marches forward unfazed, unfaltering. Even the commentators remark that Mattice seems tentative, waiting too long, allowing Cruz to steal precious moments. Every time Mattice attempts to hold his ground, Cruz punishes his hesitation with hard combinations. Yet the American shows toughness, absorbing blows, firing back, and refusing to fold. By the end of the early rounds, sweat pours from both fighters as the pace remains blistering. It becomes obvious that this is no warm-up match. This is a war emerging from patience, pressure, and survival. The middle rounds transform the bout into a full-scale tactical battle, a grinding war where both fighters begin revealing their deeper layers of grit and adaptation. Mattice, recognizing that he cannot allow Cruz to dictate the entire fight, begins stepping into his shots more decisively. He lands a few clean right hands that momentarily halt Cruz's forward progress, bringing murmurs of surprise from the crowd. His jab becomes sharper, straighter, and his footwork slightly more deliberate as he circles to his right, trying to avoid the incoming left hook. Cruz, however, is like a tide. He recedes only to come forward with more force. He digs hooks to the body that echo through the building, punches that wear on Mattice's breathing, rhythm, and posture. The commentators note the subtle changes. Mattice's punches beginning to lose snap, his guard drifting open just a moment too long, his legs occasionally betraying signs of fatigue. Yet despite the forward march of Cruz, Mattice finds pockets of success. In the 5th and 6th rounds, he fires combinations at mid-range, landing clean right-hand counters and brief flurries that force Cruz to reset. These exchanges ignite the crowd, who sense the intensity rising with every clash. Cruz absorbs the shots, briefly nodding as if acknowledging, "Good one, now here's mine." He then returns fire with whip-like left hands and short uppercuts that snap Mattice's head back. By the end of the 6th round, the fight has become a brutal seesaw, one where each man attempts to carve out control in moments, yet quickly has it stolen by the other. The swelling around Mattice's face becomes noticeable, but so does the grit in his expression. He refuses to let Cruz dominate without resistance, even as the pressure wears on. The 7th and 8th rounds become the turning point of the fight. In round 7, Cruz unleashes a monstrous overhand right that sends shockwaves through the arena. Mattice stumbles, his legs buckling for a moment, and suddenly the crowd is on its feet. The bell arrives mercifully. Mattice was hurt, clearly shaken, and the commentators even question whether he was saved by the bell. His corner urgently tells him, "Stop looking for one shot. Move, throw combinations, don't give him distance." And Mattice listens. When round 8 begins, he comes out on his toes, circling, jabbing, throwing quick flurries, doing everything he can to keep Cruz from setting his feet. Surprisingly, it works. Mattice lands crisp shots, an uppercut here, a right hand there, and momentarily takes control of the round. Even Cruz seems to acknowledge the shift, blinking as he reassesses and adjusts. But pressure fighters thrive in chaos, and Cruz quickly returns to form. He stalks Mattice down, throwing wide hooks and compact body shots, pushing him to the ropes, refusing to allow breathing room. The exchanges grow louder, fiercer, and more emotional. The sound of leather slamming against ribs, gloves, and jaw fills the arena. Both men are breathing heavily now, exhausted from the relentless pace. Yet neither shows an ounce of surrender. Mattice, to his credit, banks what commentators call one of his best rounds, but he pays the price in fatigue. Cruz absorbs everything thrown his way and finishes the round with another flush right hand that rocks Mattice. The fight has evolved into a heart-testing, will-breaking contest. By the time the championship rounds arrive, exhaustion has set in, but the stakes burn hotter than ever. Rounds 9 and 10 reveal the pure essence of championship heart. Mattice digs deep, firing combinations with renewed determination, pushing himself beyond fatigue. He lands multiple sharp right hands, causing Cruz to momentarily hesitate, something rarely seen. The commentators note that Mattice may be fighting his best late-round performance, trying desperately to shift the tide. His legs, previously shaky, now find new life as he angles off, trying to turn Cruz and catch him with counters. Cruz, however, thrives in these deep waters. Pressure fighters are built for late battles, and Pitbull Cruz proves exactly why he has earned his nickname. He continues to march forward, hands glued to his chin, slipping under punches and answering with brutal hooks to the body. Mattice tries to create space, but Cruz crashes through it again and again. In the final minute of the ninth, Cruz lands yet another heavy right hand that jolts Matisse's head back, igniting roars from the crowd. They sense the urgency, the desperation from both men. When the final round begins, Mattice gives everything he has left. He throws combinations in bunches, landing impressive shots that demonstrate his heart and refusal to quit. But Cruz's pressure never stops. He cuts off the ring, punishes the body, and lands precise left hooks that sap what remains of Matisse's stamina. By the final bell, both warriors are drenched in sweat, chests heaving, faces marked by battle. It is the kind of ending only a warlike fight delivers. The fighters step back as the final bell echoes, their bodies battered, but their spirits unbroken. Cruz raises his gloves with a knowing confidence. He feels the victory in his bones, built through relentless pressure and consistent power punching. Mattice, though exhausted, stands tall, his face carrying the bruises of battle, but his spirit showing pride in a performance that demanded everything from him. Both corners tend to their fighters, wiping sweat, holding ice packs, whispering final words of reassurance. In the crowd, tension thickens as everyone waits for the judge's verdict. The ring announcer steps forward, card in hand, voice steady as the arena hushes itself. After 10 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. A long pause. Both in favor of your winner by majority decision, Isaac Pitbull Cruz. The crowd erupts, a thunderous wave of applause crashing around the arena. Cruz's corner celebrates, lifting him onto their shoulders as he absorbs the moment. Mattice nods in acceptance. He gave a valiant performance, especially in the late rounds, but Cruz's relentless grind and overwhelming pressure proved decisive. Commentators highlight Cruz's efficiency, punches thrown, punches landed, body shots that chipped away at Mattice's stamina, and the late-round knockback moments that swayed the judges. Yet they also praise Mattice for his courage, adaptability, and refusal to surrender. As Cruz stands center ring under the victorious spotlight, sweat glistening, gloves lifted high, one thing becomes clear. This was more than a fight. It was a testament to heart, ruggedness, and the purity of boxing's warrior spirit. The cameras pan across the arena, capturing fans cheering, fighters embracing, and a ring that witnessed 10 rounds of fire. It is a night that will remain etched in highlight reels, a war between two men who left everything they had inside the ropes. Yet they also praise Mattice for his courage, adaptability, and refusal to surrender. As Cruz stands center ring under the victorious spotlight, sweat glistening, gloves lifted high, one thing becomes clear. This was more than a fight. It was a testament to heart, ruggedness, and the purity of boxing's warrior spirit. The cameras pan across the arena, capturing fans cheering, fighters embracing, and a ring that witnessed 10 rounds of fire. It is a night that will remain etched in highlight reels, a war between two men who left everything they had inside the ropes.